Welcome to Showtime 49. Welcome to Showtime 49.
What's good, everybody? I appreciate y'all for coming back to the show yet again. As you can see over here, I have an Eagles fan. And as we all know, Sunday it's about to go down. Now, I'm gonna give you a quick backstory. As I met this man, his name is DeRoy. I met him after the Niners and Cowboys game. We just happened to randomly walk towards each other as a group of people, and he just happened to hear us talking football, as we should after the game just happened, after we destroyed the Cowboys. He comes up to me, we start talking, and I could just feel the vibe. I could see that he knows his team and he's been a fan for forever. So I was like, why not? Let's finally start here on Showtime 49, our first time having the enemy on. So we'll call it Turf Wars. So for today, this is our first episode of Turf Wars, and we're going to start with the biggest game of the year, the Eagles. DeRoy, how you doing, man? Nice to see you again.
I'm doing really good. Thank you so much for having me on. I had a really good time out in San Francisco. It seemed like every time I ran into somebody, they kept asking me why I was there.
Rightfully so.
I actually was there because my cousin is a big 49er fan, and he always flies out to the game, so he kept asking me to go, so I went. But once I got there, and saw how the 49er fans party and how they, they're enthusiastic about their team, and I got a few, blank you Philly, but overall though, most of them were like really cool, and I had a good time. But and they love talking football, and I love talking football. So
we do football. Like that's who our fan bases are. Our fan bases are real strong about our team, and we'll talk to anybody at any given moment about what's going on, about how their team sucks and how ours is better. It's a bunch of everything. Bunch of casual talk, real talk. It is what it is, but it's all in good fun. I'm glad you had a good time. It wasn't no negativity, And
there was some negativity. It wasn't like anybody was roughing me up or anything like that. I didn't feel.
It just y'all know this is a big dude right here. This ain't no little 5'8", 6. Nah, none of that. Nah.
No, I'm not even trying to say that. But I didn't feel unsafe. Nobody stepped to me it was beyond a game. So as far as that's concerned, I had a great time, and I met people from not just the San Francisco area, but. I met two guys from freaking Alaska that flew down for the game. I was like, holy God.
Goodness.
One was a Cowboy fan, and the other one was a Cowboy fan, and the other one was a 49er fan.
I met them split from Alaska.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow. That's
amazing.
Who would have knew?
Who would have known? Well, I was there. I didn't have any skin in the game for either team, but I was there, and it was a good time. I wanted to experience it, and it was it.
Okay. See, that's how it is tonight. Like, I'm going to the Warriors game tonight, but I'm not a fan of the Warriors or the Clippers. I'm actually a Lakers fan. And that's that's the other team I actually cover on this channel. But this is just my Niners time, and I'm pretty heavy on the Niners right now because it's kind of big. It's a big deal,
should be. As you should be, because they are one of the
Super Bowl contending teams, so we hope. There's only a few out there that they give credit for. And the two that are playing on Sunday are definitely a part of that group.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, let's get right into it. So I told you we're going to talk about the defensive weaknesses and strengths. Right now, I just got them called highs and lows. So I want to hear from your perspective. From the Eagles side, what do you think y'all's strengths are on defense? We'll start there.
Okay. Well, if you asked me that question before the last game, I would say, our front seven. But, Cox got a hamstring, Cunningham, Cox got a groin and Cunningham's got a hamstring. Yeah. Williams still hasn't gotten back from the concussion protocol. So, that's three,
important
of our top guys. And, the young guys did step up, and we were down 10 points without those guys and still came back and won the game. But that's the strength of our team, the interior defensive front.
Okay.
Our secondary hasn't played up to their potential. And I think that the issue there is, we've had a lot of moving parts. We had a lot of injuries in our secondary. And, we finally got, all the players that we want in the positions that we want them. And now they just have to play together to become a cohesive unit.
Okay.
So, and the last few games, we've been playing the best quarterbacks in the NFL. So what are you going to do?
You know what?
That's true.
That's very true. So I'm glad you brought that up because in a previous show of mine, I was talking with a couple other Niner fans, and I told them that I know that the Eagles give up a lot of passing yards, and I know that you guys' passing defense against touchdowns, you guys are ranked 31st in the league.
Okay.
But I also said, look who they're playing. And most of the time, if they're up, well, guess what? The team has to pass the ball. And if they're playing against who we would call elite quarterbacks or next level quarterbacks, what have you, that's who they're playing. So they're playing playoff teams that have Super Bowl aspirations. That's what you're going to get, honestly. So I honestly don't feel like the numbers really show how good you guys might really be. And I don't want us coming to a game thinking like, oh, we just pass all day and, it's going to be all good. And then you get smacked in the mouth. Next thing you know, you're down 10. And we know from our standpoint, we don't play good from behind. At least we haven't showed that this year.
That was my next point, but I was waiting until we got there. But go ahead.
Yeah. No, it's cool. We can, keep it going. But I like what you said about your defense, y'all front seven, and then, you're hoping with the injuries, everything clearing up, that your secondary could be better. But you guys still have current injuries right now. For sure. I'll talk about our defensive strengths. Of course, I think that our D-line, like our front seven, I feel like is also really, really good. I feel like our linebacking core,
arguably the best in the league.
Yes. And that's why we're here. Because it's arguably, that's why we're here. But I feel like we have the best linebackers in the league. And I know our D-line is like that. We got Chase Young now, and he's ever since then, we haven't lost. We weren't getting any sacks prior to. Like when I met you, we weren't getting much sacks. We were getting pressures, and I get that's like a thing. But to me, if you're not getting home, then what does it matter? Because
it matters. If you can speed the quarterback up, it matters. It does.
Yeah, but it wasn't coming out to nothing because we lost 3 in a row after that, So I'm like, a sack. Okay, so let me put it like this. If somebody was to sack Brock Purdy, I tell you what happens to that drive. It's over.
Okay.
It's over. We don't do well with penalties, getting sacked. We don't do well with things like that. And then trying to adjust, and we'll get into that later because that's a coaching thing, but we'll get into that later.
Okay.
But I do feel that way. But our lows also, I personally feel like it's our secondary. Now, the last few weeks we've been playing good. Charvarius Ward has been doing this thing. Ambry Thomas hasn't been committing penalties on deep plays. And Amador Lenore is there.
And you know what that is, right?
Pressure.
When you get pressure and you speed the quarterback up.
Yes. That's what's
happening. Then your secondary play, they don't have to play cover as long. And they can make plays.
And that's why I think the addition to Chase Young was important because now we have Nick Bosa on one side. You can't just run at him to neutralize him anymore. You have to worry about that other side. And we also have one of yours in Javon Hargrave that's in the middle that's supposed to help with the pass rush and stop the run. And, we got Javon Kinlaw as well. And then we got Eric Armstead, who's been there forever. He's like a forever Niner. Right. Yeah, no matter what he does, he's just going to be there. And he's a great player. So it's going to be interesting up there. The difference is
our offensive
we haven't given up as many deep touchdowns or like all the passing yards and stuff like that yet. In our 3 losses, we only had 17 points. I actually blame the offense a little bit more because most people were trying to be like, what about the defense? What about the defense?
Right.
Well, if the offense isn't putting up the points, if they're getting off the field fast, then therefore you're going to have a more tired defense. and our defense usually isn't that tired because we're a time possession team. So are you guys. That's why this battle is going to be so great.
Okay, so your defense against everybody else. Well, first of all, in those 3 games that you lost, like the average points that your defense gave up was what? Like 20 points?
Yes, like it's not much.
It's nothing. So you can't. It's not the defense.
That's what my point was.
If you hold a team under the NFL average, you should win. But like you guys said, you guys had, Williams was out supposedly, Debo was out, and okay, some teams can handle it, and then some teams, I don't know. I don't even understand why you have a depth problem, because you have a quarterback that's on his like initial contract, so you got money up the wazoo. So I don't understand why you don't have depth. But look, I'm just looking forward to this game. Everybody's saying, this team is better than that team, and that team is better than this team. And everybody that they say is better than our team, this team is on our schedule. So we're going to prove it all come this Sunday, because everybody else that came in here thinking that they was going to roll us.
Yeah, see, they got to leave that statue alone, man. They got to leave Rocky alone. Everybody quit touching Rocky. And I mean that faithful too. We ain't scared of nothing. Trust me. But it's like, why fuel the fire anymore? It's just, let's just come in here and handle business. And I love how our players have been acting this week.
I don't know if your team
this week they've been kind of cool. It feels like Kyle Shanahan may have talked to them and be like, look, I know y'all might think y'all think y'all big and bad, but we ain't got no rings. We ain't got no rings, bro.
But we don't have any rings either.
No, and now we both have been to the Super Bowl, and the difference between us is y'all quarterback is better than our quarterback, and I am saying that, and I know a lot of people are probably going to be like, "What? Look at the numbers." Look, he in his second year, and there's a one key point here. When Jalen Hurts has less people, like talking about injuries, people that aren't there, he found a way to win the game. When we had our injuries, we lost all of them.
You found a way to lose the game.
Yes, we did. And that came down to our quarterback. He started throwing interceptions, pick sixes, like trying to force things that weren't there. When you have a quarterback that doesn't have a strong arm like Jalen Hurts has, he has to anticipate where that ball is going to be thrown. If people see that and they know that, and you're down, so you're trying to force things to happen with anticipation.
Game. All right, so the 49ers all season long, they've been crushing teams. They've been crushing. They've been in front, they get out front and it's over. But there's 3 games where the opposition came to play.
Browns, Vikings, and Bengals.
Matched their intensity. They matched everything that the 49ers brought to the table.
They wasn't scared. They came in like, let's go.
And in all 3 of those games, they yielded. The 49ers yielded.
They did.
And lost the game.
The truth.
The Eagles, on the other hand, it seems like everybody comes to play for them. Everybody matches their intensity, matches their everybody. They match everything that we got. They can't match our talent, but they match the intangible stuff. And they get up on us, up 10, up double digits. How many teams have gotten up double digits on us this year? And how many of them came away? How many of them came away with a W?
Clearly none except for the Jets. Like
the Jets the Jets never took the lead in the game until the final minutes when we had to let them score the touchdown so that we would have enough time to try to come back. It was like, come on. It was like either let them kick a field goal and win the game because we was only down 2. So it's either let them kick the field goal, end the clock and kick the field goal, or give them the touchdown and then try to come back.
Right.
And we just couldn't come back. It was just, you're going to have those kind of games. So people are like, how did you lose to the Jets? Because it's the NFL, and sometimes you don't have it and they do. And it was one of them games.
And that's the thing people got to stop saying is, how'd you lose to this weak team or whatever, right? That's supposedly weak
Cowboys
team or
lost
whatever.
to the Cardinals. It happens. It's the NFL.
So, like, literally in every sport, all of the top tier teams, they lose games to teams that that everybody expects for them just to trounce. Like everybody, it happens every single year. I'm trying to figure out, why do we act surprised? So when you guys are coming up with your predictions for the year and the records, you should probably accompany 1 or 2 of those games. Like, oh, I don't know how that happened, because it was every year,
right?
Every year. If I had to bet all my money against the Jets, I would bet the Eagles are going to destroy the Jets every time. But
and usually it happens multiple times in a year. The thing that the good teams do is they minimize that. You know what I mean? It's tough. It's tough. It's a grueling sport, and it's tough to be focused, 100% of the time. You're human. You see a team rolling in here that you're supposed to kill, and they rolling in here because they gonna bring you everything they got, because whether they on that same team next year or not, they got to put film out there so that other people can see what they got. So they bringing it. As bad as they are, they bringing it every day.
On the line. Their career's on the line.
And if you come sleeping, if you come sleeping, you're gonna get taken out. It's as simple as that. So the Jets was our game, and I mean, you guys really haven't had that game yet. Losing to like the teams that you lost to. Let me rephrase that. The teams that you lost to were inferior to your team because, of course, you one of the top 3-4 teams in the league, and those teams are not.
Right.
But the Browns just had a, ridiculous defense, you know what I mean? And they played to their level.
Yes. And our quarterback was off that game.
You still should have won the game. Field goal kicker missed the field goal at the end.
He definitely missed 2 field goals that game.
But I mean, he was game winner. That's what I'm saying. Won that game.
That's the difference. Like, championship teams, when they get those games, most of the time they still try to find a way to win. They may not win every single one, but like you said, minimize it. They find a way to win. Right. I still have my nerves when it comes to Brock Purdy and everything, because now is a real game. It's a real test. And of course, I want us to get off to a good start, because naturally we do, and naturally you guys don't. So I would hope that you guys wouldn't want us to get up by 10 points at least, because that's not a good recipe for winning, especially against us. Like, I know you guys have beat other teams and everything, but that's not what we do. We don't give up those leads like that. We just keep on pouring and pouring, because Kyle Shanahan, he gets his confidence, and then he's in his bag and he starts doing all this stuff. But the moment something doesn't go perfect on the script, then
that's when y'all start.
Issue. That is our flaw.
That is your flaw.
And there's a question mark about if Brock Purdy is that person that can lead a game-winning drive, and not force things and come out with a turnover. Because a couple of those games, I looked to the people that was next to me and said, this feels like an interception drive. I mean, 2 plays later, he threw a pick. And I was like,
look, I'm not one to hate on any. So. I got it. And I'm not one to hate on any player. If they made it to that level, they at that level. But
professionals.
Like you see in my cave here, I got like my time is the NCAA basketball and in the NCAA football and NFL football. I will sit here and watch football and basketball all weekend long. So I've seen every play of Purdy's career.
Yeah.
No, but I've seen every play of his career, because they're big conferences and I watch them. And look, I'm not hating on Purdy, but there was a reason why he was the last pick. He was the last pick. You know what I mean? So
yes,
and it's not because he's bad, because he was picked, and there was a lot of quarterbacks out there in the rest of the world, that wish they could have gotten drafted. So getting drafted last is not like I'm saying like a disrespectful thing. You got drafted, but there were a lot of other quarterbacks picked before him.
Yeah, so like all of them.
Right. So now we go to the 49ers. All right, with all that talent. And they're like, oh my God, Purdy's the second coming. I don't know what they're saying, but
they're talking about like he's Joe Montana, and that really irks me. That irks me, but
exactly. But the 49ers are kind of like they built the only team that I know historically that are built plug and play for quarterback. So you lose your quarterback, your initial quarterback last year, you bring in your second quarterback.
Yeah.
No drop off. You lose your second quarterback and you bring him in, no drop off.
Still win every game. Yeah.
Is it the quarterback? Is it the greatness of the quarterback, or is it, the system that Shanahan has built? So when I watch Purdy, like he doesn't have to make all the throws that I see the top quarterbacks make.
No.
Basically, Shanahan has it where he drops back, whatever, rolls out, whatever, and he throws to his first option. And that guy's wide open. He's not making tight throws. He's making throws to guys running college open, high school open.
See, and that's
so they're like, oh, well, he's throwing 70%. Well, shit, I could throw 70%. If the dude is, got a 5 yards separation, I could hit that guy.
Yeah.
You could hit that guy.
Yeah.
Left-handed.
Yeah, because they're wide open.
Right. Yeah. So when you watch his plays, he doesn't have to like, and I'm not saying that he doesn't go through his progressions, because every now and then he has to, but normally he drops back out of his 3-step drop or whatever. He comes up and he looks, and there's a guy wide open, and he throws it to the wide open guy. Okay. Now, I don't think when you play the better teams, well, this is the best team that you're going to play.
Yeah.
And I don't think that there's going to be a lot of wide open receivers. They might be pro open, but they're going to have a guy right there. Can you squeeze it in that window? Pro quarterback's got to be able to, you know what I mean? Like,
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
This is college open. This is pro open.
Yes.
You got to be able to throw it in there.
You got to fit it between the fingers.
You got to fit it in there. Yes. So I don't know if he can do that consistently. I want to see that. I don't want to see it this weekend, but I want to see that from him in the future before we start anointing him better than, these other guys.
Anybody else. Yeah.
Everybody that was in the playoffs last year, every single quarterback of the 14 teams that was in the playoffs last year, what quarterback was he better than in the playoffs last year?
He actually didn't play good in the playoffs. He only played good against the Seattle game.
But I'm just saying, the whole NFC.
I would just have to say Dak, because that's who we beat. But
he's not better than him.
But he's not. I don't agree that. I don't agree either. I don't think he is better than Dak either. But
no, he's far from Dak. Look, he's far from Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
If the 49ers today had Dak Prescott on their team, there's no way any of the rest of these teams could touch y'all.
And see, I say that with so many. I'll be plugging them in. I'm like, can you imagine if we had Jalen Hurts, if we had Dak Prescott, if we had Justin Herbert or something,
If you had Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, dude.
If you had the Brady of last year, I'm saying, you just name all these quarterbacks and it's like, come on, man, they're going to take you to another level.
They will.
Because now you don't have to like the 49ers kind of like carry him, whereas those other guys can put the 49 in those 3 games that you lost. You needed somebody to put y'all on their shoulders. You know what I mean? And he can't do that.
That's what elite quarterbacks do. Super
That's
Bowl
what elite
quarterbacks do. At
NFL quarterbacks do. Yes.
At some point in the playoffs, Super Bowl, what have you, I always say this. The quarterback is going to, at some point, have to play at an elite level, is going to have to take a team down and put them on their shoulders and keep them in the game, if not win the game. Okay, that's what a quarterback is going to have to do. Even when Nick Foles won it, he had to step up and be great during that time. And he did.
He was not just a caretaker. He was balling.
He was balling. And you have to eat Joe Flacco. When we lost to him in the Super Bowl, that man was another level quarterback in that time. And then after that, but it didn't matter.
To win it, though, you gotta
jump on the stream when it's going.
Right.
You know? You got to jump and rise to that level and take it on to the next. Because if you don't do that, like, I want to know, do we have a franchise quarterback? And I cannot crown him franchise yet, especially after we gave up everything that we gave up to not even use that guy and trade him to our arch enemy in Dallas. Like, what? So we do that with the guy that has all of everything that you can imagine in a quarterback. All you got to do is put time into him. We didn't have time to put him. We didn't have time. So why did we give up everything? Anyway, that's a whole different thing.
No, I'm not even arguing that because, so that guy, let's just say in fact is, let's just say your backup quarterback.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when I watched him at USC, and I'm watching him play Penn State, and I'm looking at the guy make all the throws. And I'm like, that guy's going to be a hell of a pro. Now, unfortunately for him, he went to Carolina. He went to New York Jets. They kill quarterbacks.
Yes.
But when Purdy got hurt, and I was like,
man, if we get Sam Darnold to play, dude, that's a problem, man.
I'm like, please come back before this guy gets on the field. Because if he got on the field, because he can make all the throws. Like, for Purdy, you gotta change the offense to suit what he has because he can't make all the throws. So you
know what's crazy is we didn't have to really change the offense too much because it was a Jimmy G offense. But to me, Purdy is a little bit better than Jimmy G. So he can, and I say that because even though you were talking about those tight windows, I will have to give him this. Purdy will throw those passes and he's not afraid to do them. But the key word that you said was, can he do it consistently? And can he do it in a close game? Can he do it in a game where he's behind? Like, I know that seems like I might be asking for a lot, but I'm not, because I want a franchise quarterback.
All right.
Somebody that I don't have to worry about any week. I know that person is going to do what they need to do. What is the rest of the team going to do? But we built our team backwards. Right. We built our team from the defensive line up.
Yes. Well, that's not backwards.
Well, everybody else gets their quarterback most of the time first, and then they try to figure out what's happening after that. You know, they can't pay certain guys because they have to pay their quarterback. Like the Chiefs, you know, they gave up Tyreek Hill and everything, but they have their guy. And then they proved the very next year that they didn't need him.
Right.
So,
well, I'm not going to go there because he beat my team.
I know that hurts you a little bit more. I know, but it hurts us too.
It hurt me because
we both lost to him.
But you watched the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Despite the score, you saw that was Patrick Mahomes, right?
Mm-hmm.
The crown best quarterback on the planet.
Crown him. Yep.
Him, right? Mm-hmm. And then the kid came up, right? And 300 yards passing, 3 rushing touchdowns, 1 freaking passing touchdown, 80 yards rushing. I mean, he just everything that you got to pull out of the hat, he pulled out of the hat.
He did
If they hadn't ended the game with that call, because that's what they did, they just ended the game.
Yeah.
And Kansas City would have kicked the same field goal that they kicked, but then they would have had to play 2 minutes of defense against that monster.
And I believe that y'all defense last year was even better than it is this year. I personally believe y'all defense was better last year than this year.
I think that Well, again, okay.
I know there's variables.
It was better because they had the same guys from camp to the Super Bowl on defense. They had the same guys the entire year from camp through the Super Bowl. Where this year, I don't know how many, free safeties that we've had. I don't know how many nickel corners that we've had. You know what I mean? Like the two outside corners, they the only consistent thing out there. Our both safeties have been out multiple times. The linebacking core, it's not the linebacking core that we thought we were going to have because, we thought the young kid was going to be in there, but his feet are jacked up or whatever. But the back guys, they've been a revolving door where last year they weren't. And they had that continuity. But talent-wise,
y'all got a lot of talent.
The two linebackers that we have now are on par with the two linebackers that left. I don't know. I mean, I think Roby, once he learns what's going, let me say it this way. Byard is as good as my man that went to Detroit. And Blankenship, he's just a young guy. He's got talent. He knows how to be where the ball's going to be, and he's a hitter. But he's a second-year guy, so
it's hard to fully trust. It's like you guys replaced continuity for sure, like chemistry, with talent that's young, but they still have to grow to a point where that all meshes and comes together,
Yes, but
I feel like that's what this season is doing, but you guys are still winning. So
yes, despite like them trying to gel, they still are winning games.
Yeah.
It doesn't look good. 500 yards passing to a quarterback that's not pretty.
No, but he 3 times too. Like, nah, that doesn't look good. Yeah.
He walked off the field with an L though.
The other team.
That's what I'm saying.
They
put 500 yards up and they walked out with an L.
With an L still. So they like,
Cousins, he had a career day, walked off with an L. Prescott, career day, walked off with an L. Mahomes, he did not have a career day. They shut him down. 170.
But they did have drop passes though.
Okay, this is football.
Yeah, people drop passes.
No. Not that they drop footballs, but if you have an elite wide receiver stable, then you don't have drops. But they don't have an elite wide receiver stable.
They don't.
You're going to drop footballs. They're like, after the game, they were like, well, the Kansas City Chiefs outplayed the Eagles. Okay. But if it weren't for the drops, if it weren't for the penalty, they would have beat the Eagles.
So it's like, so if it wasn't for football, basically, then it was like they would have beat. If it wasn't
for them choosing waffles over freaking granola in the morning, they would have won the game. Come on, man. I'm sitting here listening to these people, and I'm like, this is a results-orientated league. Either you do or you don't. And they didn't. So
they didn't. So at the end of the day, that's what it is.
You paid Mahomes and you went with a lesser wide receiver crew. Now they may turn into something spectacular, but for now, they're a lesser wide receiver crew than what you had.
Yeah, because the guy y'all gave up has been number one. So.
Right. They had multiple guys out there. I mean, they just got hardened back, but
they had a squad, and it was scary.
It was scary.
Now it's a lot less scary.
Now you got to pay your quarterback, so now you got to give up on something.
Which is what I was saying, which goes back into what we were saying.
Every team chooses, every team chooses what they're gonna. Yes. So your team decided to keep the quarterback that is on his first year schedule. I mean, first year contract, so that they're not spending $50 million a year on him, so they can spread that out and whatever, and then they can say, "Oh yeah, but he's also great." But wait till it comes to pay that dude. So let's see what happens.
And see, that's where my mind is. Like, I'm not just in this season, and that's what I'm trying to tell people. I am down the line. Because I know that we could just focus on this season one at a time and all that. Right. But I'm trying to avoid those years where it's trash. Who wants to sit at home when your team is trash for multiple years? Like, I don't enjoy that.
Are they going to be trash? Are they going to? You think that the 49ers are going to pay Purdy $50 million to do what he does? Or do you think that they are going to find another Purdy that is a plug-and-play quarterback that could just do what he does?
Here's the thing. I think the Niners want a franchise quarterback. I would hope so.
But just because you pay $50 million ain't going to make them franchise.
But being our history, our history shows that we'll pay any quarterback that can win a few games in a row.
Okay.
Because we just paid Jimmy Garoppolo hell money, all kind of money. And
you ain't paying $50 million.
More. We've given Jimmy Garoppolo over $100 million so far.
Okay.
And he, yes. And it was why? But it was only because he came in for the rest of that terrible season when we're having and won the rest of the games.
It's a bargain. These quarterbacks are getting $50 million a year. You're going to pay Purdy $50 million a year.
You know what the sad part is? I feel like they would do that, even though I would not agree, because I wouldn't see. The things I still want to see.
I don't think
you don't think so.
Nope.
I mean, they did it with Jimmy.
They didn't pay him $50 million a year.
Well, that wasn't how much they were making back then.
Exactly. And if
it was high. Yeah, it was still
as soon as it got to the levels that it got to, Jimmy was expendable.
Yeah.
They was going to cut him. They was going to cut him last year. But then they needed him.
The first year Trey Lance got there. That's when
But then they needed him because Trey Lance got hurt. So then they needed him.
We had Brock Purdy on our team. They didn't know if they were good enough quarterback evaluators, they would have seen that. They would have seen something, or at least give it a try. You know what I'm saying? But they did right by Purdy, and I say that because they got rid of Trey Lance, which was somebody that's on his back. The monkey, this year, and I'm comparing that to the season prior, or Trey Lance's first year. They didn't get rid of that competition that was on his back. He's still just lingering around. Then all of a sudden, boom, we sign him. And Trey Lance's like, oh, yeah, this is great. No, it's not great. No, it's not. Because our fan base was torn. Split like crazy because of this whole situation. And we're still recovering from it.
Wait a minute. Your fan base was split between Jimmy G
and Jimmy Garoppolo, and after Jimmy, those fans went straight to Brock.
Well, Brock came in and won all of those games in a row, and then
that's what Jimmy did too.
Okay, and then they didn't get to see
Trey.
They didn't get to see Trey, but they didn't get to see Purdy in flame out mode.
Yeah,
because all right, in my estimation, they would have gotten to see it in the playoff game last year. But
so you think y'all would have destroyed us with Purdy if Purdy was healthy?
Oh, well, I'm going to say this, and I don't say things like we would have destroyed you. Right, I just don't think that Brock Purdy, as constructed at that time last year, in my estimation, being the worst quarterback in the playoffs, and that's not an insult, just the
based off what it was, he was a rookie. Like you can't.
Right, but the quarterbacks in the
playoffs. No,
the players in the quarterback. I mean, the quarterbacks in the playoffs are the best quarterbacks in the league. Yeah. So he just comes in. So I'm saying that they're all better than him, just because they got more experience, more whatever, all of that stuff. So
him third string, like you can't.
Okay, so I'm saying that guy in that moment wasn't worth 24 points.
Even though he was putting up 30 every game?
You lost 31-7. And I don't think that okay. So how many playoff games did he play?
2.
Well, he only played 1, and the second one he was out before the game was even played.
Nah, he played 2. We beat Seattle, and then we beat the Cowboys.
So Seattle y'all had played them twice, and they actually gave you a battle. They just They weren't worthy. But anyway, what did he do in that Seattle game? Did he dominate? Did he dominate the Cowboys?
He didn't. No, he definitely didn't dominate against the Cowboys. I was at that game. He did not dominate.
Because I thought the Cowboys should have won the game. I thought the Cowboys were going to win the game because of my quarterback, Prescott, being better than Purdy.
I knew that Prescott was going to struggle. I bet on that man throwing 2 interceptions, and he did.
It wasn't, but Purdy should have thrown multiple interceptions in that game.
But they were dropped.
They just dropped the football.
And that's always been my key. I was like, okay, you guys are saying this dude is Mr. Perfect. I'm like, y'all do see that these are dropped interceptions. That's a lot of them. I'm like, that's gonna turn around eventually. Right. And it's not gonna look well. Right. Boom, 3-game losing streak.
So I watched that game and I thought, okay, Prescott's the better quarterback of the two. And I think that the Cowboys' talent level is on par with the 49ers. And it was. The game was right to be taken by either team.
Had 19 points.
But and some of those points would have been taken away if they, they could have made those interceptions.
Hadn't came against, if he would have played better. But our defense is,
they played good. But what I'm saying is, all things being equal, you guys made the plays, and the Cowboys defense didn't make the plays.
Right.
Meaning that those interceptions that he threw directly to them that they didn't catch was the difference in the game. And that's not an excuse. I'm just saying
that's really what happened.
But I'm looking at that quarterback, the one that was throwing the football away and got lucky and survived. Now he's coming to play the defense on the road
and weather
with a defensive line that had more sacks, that should have had more sacks than the Chicago Bears. And if
y'all had so many sacks. Oh my goodness.
Right.
Like everybody on y'all defensive line had like 10 or more, dang. It was crazy.
And it was crazy. And if that team had to play under the same rules as the 85, 86 Chicago Bears,
oh yeah,
where you couldn't throw the football away and all of that stuff, they would have had 100 sacks.
Probably easy because you can't even hit the quarterback now. So y'all completed that many successful ones.
Look at last week as an example. Riddick comes in, grabs Allen, right?
Mm-hmm.
360 degrees, spins him, getting ready to drop him on his head, and just before he lands on the ground, he tosses the football away. And that's not a sack.
Nope. It is like
they call it grounding, but that's not a sack.
Nope, he gets nothing for it.
This gets nothing for it. Well, I mean, they did use the yardage and the down, but it's like rules like that, they just
and they have to tackle like that because you can't do anything forcefully to a quarterback, and they're gonna get up like, "Ow! Oh my gosh!" And then, you hurt? Okay, it's a flag. Did that harm you a little bit? Were you inconvenienced on that throw? Okay, let me go ahead and throw this like that. Even Tom Brady doesn't agree. He's himself is like, "Look, man, it's on me to protect myself. How is it on the defense to protect me?" Huh? Right. I don't agree with the quarterback rules. I feel like they should be able to get hit a little bit more than what's happening.
Not just the quarterback rules, but I'm one. Okay, so I'm older than you. So the football that I watch, now is like unrecognizable compared to the football that I watched in the late 70s and early 80s. Right. Okay. So, TV came in and they said we want more offense. And so they've changed the rules to make it almost impossible to play pass defense.
Yes.
So they're saying, okay, well, we're worried about like wide receiver safety, right? Like defenseless. Well, why is a wide receiver defenseless out there on the field? There's a few reasons. One, he obviously is not reading the defense and he's trying to run through a zone instead of, like if it's a man-to-man, then you can run through the defense because it's only your guy chasing you. But if it's a zone, you're going to run directly into somebody standing there.
Run to that open spot when you got Fred Warner or Blankenship, somebody right next to there waiting for you to catch the ball.
You're supposed to run to a spot and sit down. That's a lost art. Two, your quarterback, he's supposed to be looking out for you. So he's not supposed to lead you into those kind of hits, right? Mm-hmm. Three, the receiver is defenseless because he went up in the air to catch the ball. Yeah. Well, don't go up in the air to catch the ball. I'm just saying.
You gotta do what you gotta do. If you're gonna go up there and get it, is what you're saying.
But
Like, if
once
you're
you
gonna
leave
go
your
out there
feet,
and get it, then you gotta
right.
know the consequences of doing that, is what
Right.
you're saying.
Once you leave your feet to go get a football, then all bets are off. You know?
But now it's like, if you jump,
you gotta
it's
wait
like
for
you
them to land.
just jump. Now they trying to tell you to jump because they can't hit you.
Right. So the defender has to wait for you to come down. He's like, okay,
And then try to hit the ball away.
And then
like,
try to hit you. Yeah. How do you play defense like that?
You can't.
You cannot play defense like that.
You can't.
So,
you have to literally be perfect and never let them get open at all. And that's impossible because you can only play good defense for about 2 to 3 seconds. And after that, they're going to be open. If you have a quarterback that's going through progressions and has an arm and accurate and able to do all that, then hey, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get pulled up.
AKA not Brock Purdy.
Yeah. So far, yes, he's been doing what needs to be done. But as I said plenty times, I'm just waiting for them moments. And so far in them moments, I haven't seen it. All I've seen was turnovers in the L. And that worries me because I know playoff football is coming. Sunday is playoff style football. Hey, he come out of here with no turnovers, I'm going to be happy with that.
Okay. Here's another thing that I noticed. Okay. So the Eagles have been giving up a lot to these last few games. And this is the gauntlet. So they had Miami, they had Washington, they had Dallas, they had the Chiefs, and they had the Bills. So take out the Miami game. The Washington quarterback,
Sam Howell.
He should have been tackled, I don't know how many times in the backfield, but he was able to run. Prescott should have been sacked twice as many times as he was, but he was able to run out of the pocket and get first downs. Right. Then Mahomes, you know that he just lives to do that crap. Yeah, so he's running all over the place, getting first downs. And then this week, Allen, he's a beast.
Yeah,
I don't know how many. You saw how many first downs that he got.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
He's a big dude. So all of those guys were able to get first downs with their legs. Is Purdy going to be able to do that? Or is he going to
can? I think he can
have to sit there and accept the punishment.
I think Purdy can. Purdy has been pretty good inside the pocket and being able to scramble out. But I'm saying, like, his awareness inside the pocket has been pretty well, where he's been able to get out. And then there was even some games where he actually took off and ran and had like over 30, 40 yards rushing. And I was like, wow, he's not slow. He's not slow. Yeah, he's not like Jimmy G that's going to sit in the pocket with them cement feet, you know, and throw the ball to receivers so they can get blasted by a linebacker. You know, he's not going to do that.
We're going to see. Because I was sitting there thinking about it, and I was like, those 4 quarterbacks all had escapability. And I'm like, I don't know if Purdy has that.
Purdy can escape. It can't escape to the level of a Patrick Mahomes.
Right. Purdy doesn't hold the ball, to me, long enough to get to the position where he has to run. Usually, I'm telling you, it's like,
and if he doesn't have to do that, that works in our favor.
Well, it does, but I don't believe that he's going to be able to just throw consistently to his first read.
No, he's going to have to go through his progressions.
He's going to have to go through his progressions.
If you guys aren't game planning to stop the first read right now, then you guys don't want to win. So, yes, he should know that I'm going to have to go through my progressions. But I feel like he's just going to get a ball to McCaffrey a whole bunch. Like, I truly believe that's going to happen. And I feel like this might be a George Kittle game. I feel like you guys have the speed and the physicality to deal with like a Debo. But I feel like George Kittle, this should be a game where he should shine, because I'm not sure how your linebackers are in coverage, because you would have to be guarding George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey. And we know he's coming out the backfield to play receiver.
So here's the issue. Like, okay, so prior to this week, Cunningham, he was playing like excellent coverage football.
Okay.
But he's got a hamstring. So
since we talking
he may
about
or may not be playing. He may or may not be playing. So they bring Byard up to play the tight end, and he did a really good job against Kennard last weekend. I mean, you didn't hear his name at all.
No, he was good. That's a good thing, you know, not hearing the name.
But of course, Kittle's a different animal.
Yeah, and one of the top tight ends in the league for sure.
We're gonna see.
He's a blocker.
Yeah, he's a very physical dude. The whole 49ers team is like super
Physicality is
physical,
who we are.
but they, to me, they play the game, you know, with the bully mentality. And
We do.
a lot of teams, and I'm not saying that as a negative, I'm just saying that they play with a bully mentality where they are used to doing what they want to do to teams, and teams usually yield to that.
Yeah.
But the 3 times that I saw teams not yielding to that, they took
W's.
L.
Yeah, those teams won. Absolutely.
Yes. So I'm waiting to see. Well, I know my team is not. I know that, you know, they might not be able to throw the ball and they might not be able to run the ball. You know what I mean? But they're going to be physical.
Yes.
From
I
the
don't
first
think
play
there's
to
any
the
lack
last play, they're going to be physical. And if
Yeah.
you can deal with that the whole game and do what you do, then you're going to deserve to win.
Yeah. So since we're talking about receiving group,
Okay.
how do you guys feel you're going to do against people like Brandon Ayuk? Let's say that, because he's not our number one target, even though he should be. Don't get me started with that. Don't get me started, because really, I feel like Brandon Ayuk is our real number one receiver. He's our best route runner. He has the best hands on the team. So I'm like, I feel like that's who we should be prioritizing. But we don't. We don't prioritize him first, and he still almost has 1,000 yards receiving already. He's over 800 already, and he's not even the first, second, or even third option sometimes.
So who's the first option? Who's the one with
Christian McCaffrey? Christian McCaffrey is our everything. He's our first option, running and passing. We use him so much that he's always the first option. George Kittle,
I'm saying
he
got
doesn't.
800 yards passing at this time is pretty good.
Say what?
800 yards receiving is pretty good at this time of the year.
Yes, for somebody that's not a number one receiver. So why aren't we targeting him more? That's my thing. Especially when Debo was out.
Well, wasn't he out though recently? Did he miss?
Ayuk don't miss nothing.
I thought he was out 2 or 3 games. He didn't miss any.
Nope, that was Debo. Debo was out and Trent was out. Those was the only times. Our receiving group has been pretty healthy other than that. Ayuk ain't missing nothing. If we was missing Ayuk and Debo, y'all can probably forget it. I don't know what's going to happen. Honestly, if we don't have Christian McCaffrey, I know what's going to happen, which is why I'd be afraid of his usage, because that's what happened in Carolina. His usage was so high, you get injured. You get injured like every year. So this year, of course, he's been banged up, but he could have took off, but he didn't. He's still been playing, which is great. I'm like, cool, you still in the game. But Kittle is up and down when it comes to receiving, like him being an actual receiver and doing something. There'll be games where he have 100 yards receiving all these catches. Like, oh my gosh, George Kittle is the best thing since the microwave. But nope,
they don't throw
not every game. Then all of a sudden, the next week he has 19 yards.
Right, but it's not.
How is he not targeted more than that?
Okay, so it's all what a defense, what they're strategizing against. So if they say, okay, we're going to take Kittle away, or we're going to do something with our defensive ends where they need to keep them in. I mean, that is part of it.
I get it. You can scheme to shut down a specific player or two, and then other players have to step up. I understand.
Right.
I understand that, but it's like this is one of those games where George Kittle should not have a reason to not shine. He shouldn't.
Well, now, if McCaffrey's going off and if Debo or Ayuk is going off, I mean, there's only one football to go around. I mean,
but I'm not sure Debo and them are going to go off like that. Okay. They're going to be prioritized. Okay. Debo's the best playmaker to me in period. He's not a great wide receiver, but when that ball is in his hands, ain't nobody else like him. So
you're right. He's tough.
Yeah, by any means necessary, he's got to get the ball to him. So he's going to be featured in that way because that's what we always do. I don't know how well he's going to do because you guys have speed on the outside. Like, you guys aren't slow, and it's not like when you guys are in coverage, people are wide the heck open because they're not. Right. These great quarterbacks have to make those plays. Okay. And I feel like that person that can create that separation is Brandon Ayuk because I feel like his route running is top tier. Okay. I watch his route running a lot.
But is he considered like a fast wide receiver? Is he just a great route runner?
he's a great route runner, but he's not considered a speed guy. He is a
Right.
yak guy, and he's also a good playmaker. Like, he will catch the ball and shake you,
Right.
you know, but he can be ran down. Yes,
Right.
he can.
Well, we seem to have issues with like the Tariq Hill kind of guy, that like shifty, fast,
Speed
but
shifty dudes. We don't have
but
that.
Bradbury and Big Play, they like tailor made for those guys. They're tailor made for those guys. Well, here's the issue though. A lot of teams have been doing them rub routes, and they get away with it. And I mean, it's like it's a not an illegal rub route. It's a legal rub route. And they're really difficult to defend. And I know Shanahan has 1,000 of those.
He better. He
does.
And he has to, because the crossing is what we do. And that's what Brock Purdy's strength is. It's across the middle on them slants and all this stuff.
Like rub route, a wide open dude, and he's like, here. It's almost a handoff, except for it's a 10-yard handoff.
And he's accurate. So as long as he's able to do that, we're going to win the majority of our games. But the biggest question is, when is it going to happen in the biggest time, the playoffs?
When is it going to happen when he has to do
the good
it?
Coaches, the good schemes,
Right.
all that stuff is going to be different than playing the Cardinals twice a year.
Yeah.
You know, even playing the Rams, like, we own them, but we didn't own them in the playoffs. You know, it's just like, man, you know.
Well, you know what? Y'all should have won that game.
Somebody dropping kicks.
The dude dropped the pick at the end of the game, gave it away.
Oh, what?
He was like this. He was like fair catching that joint.
It was so easy. It was like the easiest one. He got ripped on Twitter by so many people. That hurt me so bad.
Wow. I actually rooted for the 49ers that game. I did.
Wow.
But anyway. Okay.
Yeah.
So your receivers versus our secondary. I'm going to give you the slight advantage just because I think we have enough talent to handle your receivers, but I can't say the week after giving up 500 yards that we're going to be like, you know, shut down D. So I'll give you the advantage.
Okay. I get where you're coming from. I appreciate that. I appreciate you being real. But yeah, that's another thing. You guys just didn't play well defensively for a whole game.
The whole game.
Chances are that doesn't happen twice in a row from a championship contending team. Usually you're able to
correct 4 games in a row.
I know, and that scares me.
Us 4 games in a row that we played, we gave up a ton of yards in the passing game. 4 games in a row.
Y'all have. And we've turned into more of kind of like a passing team in a way. Like, we've been known for running the ball, but I'm going to be honest. Our running game ain't been that great. It was good last week, but that was the first time Christian McCaffrey broke 100 yards in over a month, at least.
Well, yes. Well, he had the oblique, and you know, that'll do it.
But he still played, and we used them 97% usage.
Okay.
After an oblique tear.
Yeah.
That worries me. Like, I don't understand where Shanahan's be doing I don't understand what he does sometimes, because we have other running backs like Elijah Mitchell. We have Jordan Mason, who I love, but he never gets in the game. Like, now they talking about got a little injury stuff, whatever, but he never gets in the game. And I heard that in practice, they says like, oh, he doesn't know the plays and he doesn't block that great, and he fumbled in practice. Has he fumbled in the game? No. He look like know the plays to me when he get in the game.
Okay. So in the running game, it's not just about running.
No, it's not.
It's not just about running, and it's not just about receiving. If you cannot pick up rushers,
the blitz,
you're a liability, and you're gonna get your quarterback killed. So if they see that in the practices that he can't pick up the Russian guy in, they're not going to put him in there. It doesn't matter how great he runs.
Yeah, that's really what Shanahan said. He was like, you know, if you can't block for me or you don't understand the whole playbook, that can cause a problem. And if my quarterback gets injured, it's a problem.
It's a problem. So
They're
guess
like,
what?
we're better off not using the guy that could help us
Right.
than get our quarterback injured again. I
Yeah,
just hope
so
we got somebody to actually stop Hassan Reddick this time.
Yeah, well,
I hope so. Somebody need to be there, not some second string tight end.
Okay. Again, Riddick, I'm not saying that he's having a anyway, I don't even want to get into the liberties that offensive linemen have been taking with my team this year. But for some reason, they haven't been able. All right, last year's team was able to get to the quarterback without blitzing.
Right.
You know, this year's team, they seem to be getting through the offensive line of scrimmage, but for some reason, they just can't get to the quarterback, whether the quarterback's running away or, he just getting the pass off just in time, or they're allowing them to get away with, ridiculous, throwing the ball away or whatever. But this year and I think that we're better. I think that even with Hargrave gone, I think that the D line is better without him because the guys that we have are more
agile.
Faster, well, younger. One, they're younger. Two, they're like more well-rounded players. Like Hargrave, he can get to the quarterback. I'll give him that. I got no disrespect. He was a great addition to our team. But you can run on him because he comes out of his thing and he, checks the run on his way to the quarterback. So teams can run on him. If you run right at him,
specialize in doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't think y'all specialize in running? Because y'all run game be going crazy. I ain't even talking about the tush push or brotherly shove. I ain't even talking about that because that's already cheating as it is. Y'all got a short field, and that's crazy. But it's a good play. Like you can't stop it. Why?
You need a cheat code, yeah.
You need a cheat code to stop that. Like nobody's stopping that, including us. Like it's not happening. Nobody's can stop that.
Oh my God!
The NFL gonna have to make a rule change or something.
Right. Then y'all just gotta figure. Look, when they came out with the West Coast offense and all of that, you short passing and whatever, nobody can stop it. But nobody said that you had to figure it out. You just got to figure it out. It took a few years, but then they figured it out. When the freaking 46 defense came out, the Bears couldn't be stopped. But then they figured it out.
Yeah.
So the push tush.
I feel like Fred Warner is trying though, because I saw him jump over a line a few games ago and grab somebody by the waist. Like he jumped, it was like he flipped him back the quarterback.
And they were
he did it perfectly. It was like they called hike and he was midair.
Yeah, but
how often is that going to happen? All I got to do is a fake.
It happens. It happens every week, and that guy lands on the top of the pile, and then it's like he's a surfboard on a wave. He just gets washed backwards. I'm sitting here looking at the guys like, as soon as they leave their feet, their leverage is gone. They just get washed away. It's like, come on, it's like a leaf on the ocean. A leaf on the ocean.
Unstoppable play.
But yes, we still have to get into the position. We have to be able to move the football those 9 yards. And so now we can talk about our offensive line. So Johnson didn't play last weekend.
No, and he's day to day right now. That's like y'all Trent Williams. So what's up with that? You got any news on that?
No, right now I don't think I'm not sure if he's playing. So let's just assume that he's not playing. So now he's the guy that stops, your defensive end.
Yeah. Chase Young or Nick Bosa. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about Bosa. Nick Young, Mulata owns him. The Mulata, like that first game.
I was going to say, he's already played y'all twice, right?
Right. So the first game, Mulata's like, because he came into football late, that it's funny how you see his mind work, but guys come in and they do things to trick him. And they'll get that. And they'll be like, oh my God, how did he fool Mulata like that? But then he'll try that move again and it won't work again. Gotcha. So the first game this year when we played Washington, Chase Young was like, I was like, damn, he's back. he was giving Mulata fits. But then when we played him the second time, he was invisible.
Ooh.
He was invisible. Mulata is a ginormous man.
He is. Like, I seen y'all offensive line just stand up. I was like, oh my goodness.
Yes.
This is a whole nother level. Like,
it's a whole
if
nother
we
level.
don't, and this is like my number one like concern about this game is are we gonna be able to get home or even apply pressure to Jalen Hurts? Because if we can't apply pressure fast enough, this could not turn out well, because then our DBs are going to be in a tough situation because y'all have a speed threat and y'all have a legit elite wide receiver. Right. We don't have an elite wide receiver like A.J. Brown. That's a different level. And we don't have any speed threats, because the speed threats that we did have were for Trey Lance because of his arm.
Right.
Those people don't even play. Like Danny Gray, all them, they don't even play.
Well,
so
maybe Shanahan will put him in the game because he knows that those are the guys that hurt us.
I hope so. That would be amazing. Like, I would give Shanahan so much credit. I would get off his back and give him so much credit. So much credit. Because I be on his back a little bit. I do. Like, I give him his praise. I give everybody their praise in due time. But because I say how I feel, which and my own concerns, as I should. This is how I feel. This is my concerns. But when they do well, I'll give them their praise. I've been giving Brock Purdy praise a lot, but I have my concerns, and they're going to stay there until he proves it wrong.
Okay.
Simple as that.
So, all right. So if we have an issue with Bosa, then you guys are going to get pressure.
Yes. And that's what I'm saying, y'all. If your Johnson is out, that changes everything, because you saw what happened. We didn't have Trent Williams.
Right.
Things were way different. We couldn't run the ball. Our passing game sucked because the pressure was there. Brock Purdy didn't look as poised as he usually looked, since they always say he's so poised. He didn't look that way. Well, and he didn't play that way. And that was Trent Williams being out. And even when he came back early to try to help, but he wasn't the same Trent, because he started getting holding penalties, stuff like that. And we know Trent don't do that. He going to do that if he's injured.
Filthy.
So even if Johnson comes back, will he be 100% if he's day-to-day on Thursday?
Right.
Like that's my thing.
Well, let's hope so.
Yeah, y'all will hope so. I hope not. I don't ever wish injury on anybody.
I'm not either, but I mean, that would just even it would just even the playing slate out. That's all I'm talking about. I mean, if we ever have Johnson, I'm like, okay, you got to back up in, we got to back up in. But some of the stuff that we talk about, not being able to move the ball because one guy is out of your like your tackle is out. Well, there's two sides to the field, right? Mm-hmm. So why don't you run away from that guy? Like, if Johnson is not there, we're gonna run to Dickerson and freaking Mulata's side of the football, right? And we're gonna get yards. You know what I mean? So why don't you guys do that? I mean, is the other side of the line,
not good? Our line is so suspect, because all we have is Trent Williams, who's elite, and some other guys. That's how I feel. To me, it is what it is. There are other guys, because we've had Colton McKivitz and all these other dude. These people are not raw. Like they get beat so much. Now they have their good moments. Don't get me wrong. They have their good moments, but it's not consistent. Like we faithfully have an issue with that right side of the line. It's been a problem for years, and we won't address it. All we address is defensive line always. Always. We needed this last draft, or not draft, this end of the trade deadline when we got Chase Young.
Right. You needed offensive line.
I wanted a DB.
Oh, okay.
I wanted somebody in our secondary.
What's wrong with you? All right, so
we were getting torched safety guy hurt these last 3 weeks. We were getting torched. I mean, penalties. I mean, look. You said those good quarterbacks that throw all those yards. Right. Kirk Cousins had one of the games of his life against us. Joe Burrow picking us apart. But then what about P.J. Walker from the Browns?
Now, he didn't light y'all up.
No, but he had too good of a game. That shouldn't happen.
No, he didn't light y'all up, and it was one of them.
He-
It was one of them days like it's gonna be
It
here,
was.
all rainy and cold and
But
nasty.
see that Shanahan. See, we're talking about the coaching duel now because we didn't basically talk about all the stuff we was going on.
Okay.
But Shanahan doesn't like to practice with a wet ball.
He doesn't.
No.
What
And I know
does
that some people say that, oh, it shouldn't matter. Like you can go do it on your own. And
Right.
you can.
Uh,
But if you go into practice with all your guys, dip the ball in a bucket of water. Let's see what we got. Let's see what's
Right.
gonna happen. Like, let's see how
right.
that's
Because
going.
the ball
how
is
that ball's-
heavier. Yeah, it's heavier.
Everything is
it's
different.
like-
And we're
yeah.
talking about Brock Purdy, who has a less of an arm
right.
for and an anticipatory quarterback.
Uh,
The weight of a ball would definitely change everything. Like
I think that these two coaches are two of the more arrogant coaches in the league. I think
I have to
that
agree.
one of the reasons why you suffered in the Eagles game last year was because of Shanahan's arrogance. Purdy had thrived on moving the pocket, 3-step drops, getting rid of the football, what have you. Then you come into Philly with a team that has a historically great pass rush.
Yes.
And you go, I'm going to fool him and I'm going to drop back 7-step drops and look for bombs. And he was out of the game before you can say Rumpelstiltskin. But then,
Then he blocked him with Tyler Croft. What?
Yeah, whatever he did. But what I'm saying is, so after that, so when I was there, they were like, and our backup quarterback was trash. So I'm like, we don't have anybody because Johnson or whatever his name was.
Josh
Yeah.
Johnson.
So they saying that they didn't trust him and all of that. So I was like, okay, well, that's the coach's fault. Because if you only have one option at the position, because you know that Johnson is not the guy to come in, you got to protect that dude, but you didn't protect him. You went back. No, I'm saying not Johnson. I'm talking about Purdy. You put him in a position where he had to face that pass rush instead of doing what you had, because to neutralize a pass rush, what do? You got to get rid of the football.
Yeah, fast, quick passes,
and
everything that the Niners do, which was weird to me.
The exact thing that they did, and they went away from it, and it got their quarterback hurt. So then they bring in the backup quarterback, right?
Didn't change nothing.
They didn't change anything. They said,
and that's my gripe with Kyle Shanahan is, can he adjust when things don't go according to his script? Because that's why I brought up the penalties. That's why I brought up the injuries, like anything, like a sack for a loss, a tackle for a loss, anything like that. That's why I said, can he adjust? You know, those coaches that are great, they can sense what's going on in the game. They have a feel, and they're like, you know what? Let's change this up right now. Throw something at him and let's see what happens. No, we'll get more conservative. All of a sudden, we're safe, and we won't change up the game at all. And if we did change the game, like he had his issues in the Super Bowls, he'll stop going to the stuff that's working, like trying to outthink himself. Like, oh, they're probably going to catch on. Let me do this. No, they didn't stop it. They're terrified right now. Keep going. Nope, he won't do that. And now it worries me. What if we get up by 10, 14 on y'all? Let's say it happens quick. Will the game plan change? I don't know.
Well, the game plan shouldn't change if you're up 14.
It shouldn't, but you guys are different.
The game plan should change if suddenly the things that you were doing that got you up 14 suddenly stop working, and then the other team starts doing things that got them down 14 to turn that around. But then you got to continue. It's not like it's your move, their move, and then it's your move again.
And we don't have it again
all the way through the game.
We don't have it again. It's our move and your move, and then it's like
it's adjustment, counter adjustment, counter adjustment, counter adjustment. You got to go through all of that, and I don't see that from your coach. I see that he says that the game plan that I have constructed with my superior mind is better than yours.
Yep.
And stop it. And so far, 8 out of the 11 games that he played, he was right.
And he gonna keep doing that because he gonna be like, look at my record, look at this, look at that.
Right.
It's like, okay, but what's your record in the playoffs? What's your record?
We're not in the playoffs right now. We just in a regular game right now.
But yes, but it all ties in because he made those same mistakes in those big games too. So it's like true. Now we're having a playoff atmosphere game, and I mean it's all of the playoff atmosphere. Literally, it's like it feels like it's the playoffs. That's what it feels like, even though it's not. But this game is bigger for us than it is for you. We lose this game.
It's not.
Okay, all right. I'm here. I want to hear your take on it because this is my take.
Okay.
If we don't win this game,
right,
we have hopes of getting a number 1 seed. That's over.
Okay.
You can forget it. You can forget it. We beat y'all though.
Mm-hmm.
Anything can happen. Like we talked about. Any given Sunday, anything can happen. If we have the same record, we're the number 1 seed because we won the head-to-head battle.
Okay.
We lose, it's over. And our issue was we always had to play a bunch of away games in the playoffs. And this year, we're the most traveling team.
Yeah.
You're going to get tired eventually. I mean, look how we were playing before the bye week.
Uh-huh.
We fizzled out. We got tired, which is my concern. We're doing too good too early. Remember, we talked about that. I was like, we're doing too good too early.
Right.
And I don't know if we can maintain this.
And I was saying stuff about peaking too early and so on and so forth. Yeah, I got you. But all right. So are you done?
I am. Go ahead.
Okay. So everything that you said about, the importance of this game, for the 49ers, it's the same thing for us. Even though we are 10-1, the Cowboys are like right there. So if we lose to you, the Cowboys are 1 game behind us. And then who do we play next week? Cowboys. So they win tonight, and then we come out and lay an egg against you guys and lose. We got to go to their spot.
A whole lot more.
We got to go to their spot. Now, all of a sudden,
the pressure is on.
Not only is home field advantage out of the question, or not out of the question, but in doubt.
Up for grabs.
Now, the division is like, we might become a wild card team.
Yeah, y'all can instantly go to 5th place.
Fast. So, there is a level of importance for this game. For the Eagles also. Okay. Then they try to say,
like that. I like that.
So then they're trying to say that the 49ers, they're angry because of what happened in the playoffs last year. They're angry. And they want to prove to everybody that now that they have their quarterback and what have you, that, this is what it is.
Yeah, they like, we ready now. Let's go. We're healthy. Let's do it.
But the Eagles have heard this mantra ever since the game was over, that we didn't deserve to go to the Super Bowl, that you were the better team and that we were lucky and, all of these things. So coming into this game, we get to shut all of that down.
Mm-hmm.
We get to shut it all down. We like, look, we don't have a full roster of our guys, but you don't hear them crying. We just gonna bring it. You win it, but you won't be able to say anything if we win it. And
not a word.
We'll be up 3 games.
It's not. We're not coming back from that because y'all was supposed to lose already. That's the thing. Y'all just went through. Y'all in the middle of the toughest part of the season, and y'all ain't lost a game.
Nope.
So after this is over with, it's not happening no more.
Nope.
We still got to play the Ravens.
Yep.
We can't lose any of these games.
The Ravens don't lose the NFC teams.
They don't. And honestly, we're not good against mobile quarterbacks. And we haven't been in years.
Well, guess what?
Jalen Hurts is one, and Lamar Jackson is
I'm just saying. You're saying I'm going to stop talking, and I'm just listening to you, bro.
I'm realistic with my team. I'm not gonna sit here and rah and be like, we the greatest, this, greatest, that, greatest. Like, no, I'm gonna keep it real.
Okay.
And we have had issues with mobile quarterbacks.
Okay.
Like I said again, PJ Walker from the Browns. He was looking like he might be able to be like a real NFL starting quarterback soon. You know, like why did he even look like that? He should have looked like absolute garbage, and we couldn't. It just he was running. He still made some of the good plays, and I know the score was super close, but it was like, dude, this game shouldn't be like this.
PJ Walker, Temple grad,
right from Temple. Really? We gonna let this happen?
Temple grad, bro.
Yeah. See, that's what it is. Like I said, Jalen Hurts is a mobile quarterback who's smart and has all the intangibles of everything. Who is hungry. He's had the same stone face since he lost the Super Bowl. He's not gonna smile again until he win one. Like you can just tell. He was on the bench looking at the Bills score again, and he's sitting there looking like. And like my boy said the other day, he was like, "I got to go do this again. I got to score another touchdown." That's what one of my boys said on my show earlier, and I was like, "Yeah, you know what? You're right. He's a stone face.
Look,
focus, laser focus. He don't care about nothing."
I have respected a lot of athletes in my time. I got guys on my walls: Cunningham, Dawkins, Reggie White, Jerome Brown. I got a bunch of them. A bunch of them. But anyway, they just were football players to me. But this dude, I got a legitimate man crush. The dude does everything that you want your quarterback to do. He is a leader. He leads by voice. He leads by example. He's the first one in the locker room. He's the last one to leave. His leadership permeates the entire franchise, from the owner to the head coach, all the way through to the freaking water boy. Like, they don't believe until the final ticks are done that they're going to lose the game.
They believe it's all on them. They're like, if we lose, it's because of us.
And they have played their last 14 games. I think it's 14. Might be 17. But 14 or 17 games versus teams with winning records. Undefeated. Undefeated. With him as the quarterback. Undefeated.
See, and that's
the last loss that they had against the two last losses. The last game against the Cowboys, but he didn't play.
Right.
And then the Super Bowl. But
which he played fantastic.
It wasn't his fault.
It was not Jalen Hurts' fault. He
wasn't his fault.
Perfect. I'm like, dang, this dude, what? Like, watching that game gave me a lot more respect.
That touchdown when they faked the push tush and he went to the outside and he got met by the two guys from Kansas City at the 3-yard line. And he dragged them into the end zone. Y'all almost started crying, dog. I almost started crying. And then he got up and he just like he don't even do that. You never see him begging for calls. You never see him, crying to the refs about late. You never see him do none of that stuff. But he got up and he was like, he just kind of flexed. I was like, go ahead, boy. I was like, yeah. So anyway, but so the Eagles, to a man, they just believe that they better than anybody that comes on the field with them. And whoever's on the field with them, they got to prove to them for 60 plus minutes, if necessary, that you can handle us. And nobody's handling us.
No, not for the entire game. And I know for sure on our side, we have moments where stuff's just dry. And we're like, what's happening? And I know you guys have those moments as well. It's like, what's happening right now? Like, what is this?
Right.
I think this game going to come down to who has those moments the least.
Okay.
I think it will come down to that because I've seen you guys play flat. I've seen us play flat. I've
4
seen
games in a row, we had half a football game that we was pancakes.
and I don't think y'all can afford to have a half a football game against us.
Okay. Well, we
won't play a half.
It depends on how far we let y'all get away in our flat half.
That's true. If y'all give up 3 points, then we in trouble.
Or if we are only behind 2 scores.
See, now that I think if we get up 2 scores, I think we gonna hold serve because that's when we're our best.
We'll see. That's how y'all play. Yeah. You get up 2 scores, and then it's like the other team can't come back. But this team is not those other teams.
It is. You guys are different, and that's why I hold that dear to me. I'd be like, this team is different.
Yeah. So I was there, and I was talking to what's your middle linebacker? Warner, right?
Yeah. Fred Warner.
So I was talking to these people I went to the 49ers pep rally. Man, that was amazing fun. But, after people started having a few, drinks in them, they're all like, as soon as they found out that I was Philly, they were like,
God, we all over you. Yeah.
But it was just talk. But anyway, but this one particular woman, she said, she looks at me from across the table and she says, what every 49er fan says, if we hadn't lost a quarterback, that it would have been a different game. Yeah. So I go, well, you still gave up like 31 points. So, so then they were like, well, she goes, well, when you lose your starting quarterback, maybe that was like, made them feel a little dejected like that. Right. Mm-hmm. So what does that mean? Like the team kind of got down because the quarterback got hurt, right? That's what she's saying. Yeah. I don't agree with that. Okay.
I'll tell you what I think later. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
So after she said that, then I was like, well, I don't think that was the case. I think that, Fred Warner or whoever the captain of that defense said that it's on us. And if they don't score, they can't win. And, brought that mantra to the defensive side of the football. And they still gave up 31 points. So anyway, so she starts, talking about, basically saying that I said what she had said. So I was like, no, I didn't say that. I repeated what I said. And then finally she was like, so you think Fred Warner said that? And I was like, yeah. So she was like, well, his dad is here, he's always here, blah, blah, blah. So she called him. So he comes over, right? So he sits down right over here. So she says, now tell him what you said to me. So I tell him. So he's like,
what are you talking to Fred Warner, dad? All right, keep going. This is crazy.
And I was kind of shocked because Fred Warner's dad is like younger than me. So, so I looked at him and he looked good. So I started talking. So then he was sitting there and he was like, facts, like he was agreeing with what I was saying. And she was like, her lip was poked out. And that's when the first girl came around and started talking about the blank Philly. It got all crazy. But I was like, whoa. But I will say, the whole experience, meeting the ex-players that came to sign helmets and stuff like that. Like my cousin knew them. That's and awesome. Meeting his dad, meeting freaking Purdy's dad at the Place Hotel that we were at.
Oh, that's dope.
All of that was I never had I'd go to the games and have a good time, but I never dealt with fandom like the people that I was dealing with, these 49er fans. The team stayed at this particular hotel. So they went to that hotel and it was packed.
That's what we do.
After they had their little in the hotel walk through, whatever, then they would come out and walk through the fans. It was insane. And all of the parents and the players, and they was all in. Oh my God, it was insane.
It's crazy how we do when we travel. We travel crazy. Yeah,
that was different. Like
I love it. Good
I
job,
never
Faithful.
thought about trying to hang with the players and their parents after after seeing them at the field. I just see them at the field and that's it.
It's over with. Yeah.
Talk about it.
The party keeps going when you're Faithful, like always.
But it made it feel. That was a loud stadium. And what's that thing that y'all do?
First downs.
How do you do it?
Are you talking about our first down chant? He's like, it's another 49er first down.
No, that's cool. Yes, that one.
Yeah,
when we were at the we were at the pep rally and they did that, and I was like, damn.
Yeah, it's real. We love that part. Yeah, the whole stadium be
that is hot.
Love that.
The 300 joint. Yo, that's hot. I had to give you.
I think that's awesome that you got to talk to Fred Warner's dad and everything. Before we get to this last score prediction,
go ahead.
I wanted to say this.
Go ahead.
Now, I'm sure Fred Warner got up and said we needed to say to the defense.
Right.
Now, us not having a good quarterback did put us in bad field position where y'all could score a lot faster and get a lot more points. That's all I got to say about that because at the end of the day, football happened and y'all won. So now let's play Sunday. It's a very important game for both sides, as we know. And then we'll see what happens from there. Like, I'm not talking mess about that game no more. Yes, Brock Purdy got injured. Would have changed the way the game was going? Yes. Do we know who would have won? No one knows. Get out of here.
I still think we were better but that's
and see, you should. You're a fan. And I feel like it would have went different. And I feel like we would have exploited some things that the Chiefs ended up exploiting. But it's cool. Even Ayuk said it himself. He said the Chiefs exploited what some of the things that we wanted the chance to do. So you get the chance. I'm like, okay, so we'll see what happens then. That's it. It should just be the end of it. Like
it should be, but you had to.
But we know it's not, and it's all good and fun.
You had to bring the Chiefs up, and the thing about the Chiefs is the difference in the two games is that when you guys came to Philly, you played on a regulation NFL quality football field.
Oh yeah,
it was grass and dirt and paint, and that's it. When you went to the Super Bowl, I don't know what that was.
Yeah,
It was an embarrassment. It was the ice skating rink, and that ice skating rink took both defenses off the
out the
field.
game. Yeah.
So
That's what happens when you have a messed up field. Like it takes the defense out the game and it affects the way the receivers run their routes. It's like it's not after that, it's just a game of playmakers and who can make it happen.
Exactly.
And it's all opportunistic.
Right. So if you take in a situation where you take two defenses off the field, one being a okay defense, the other defense being a historically fantastic defense that you just took off the field.
And you make them
who gets the advantage?
Level. That's tough.
Who gets the advantage?
The second coming quarterback since Tom Brady. That's what's going to get the advantage.
And he still needed help. He still needed help at the end of the game.
And he got it.
Take the victory.
And he got it because his name is Patrick Mahomes. That's
because he's on TV. Him and
everything, and now his tight end is dating Taylor Swift. You know, he can do whatever he want to do.
Yo, him and Mahomes on TV every 10 seconds. So they the faces of the franchise. They the faces of the NFL. So as long as they can have the faces of the that's what I just said. Mahomes in my auto. I don't even call him his real name anymore. Kelsey. He's my auto. So anyway, but let's not bring them up. But
right. Let's not. Because we both feel the same about them. Like, nah.
But anyway, okay. So your prediction is.
I'm going to hear yours first.
Oh my God!
I gotta be mad at mine. I did a score prediction on my other show, but you gotta go first, and then I'm gonna go after that.
Okay. All right. So again, I just feel that the Eagles are going to continue the same script that they have been playing this whole year. Whatever they need to do, whatever the 49ers show, whatever advantage that they think that they have, the Eagles will eventually counter it and overcome it.
Okay.
I think that they are going to stay. The game is going to stay within. All right, well, there's two scenarios I have. So the game is either going to stay within, a one-score game throughout, and then I think that the Eagles will overcome at the end and win 27-24 or something like that. Or the Eagles will come out and play their first entire football game, and it's going to be an evisceration. It'll be 31-7 again.
Okay. All right. So the more realistic one for you is 27-24, but based off how the Eagles play, you saying that it could get ugly. Okay. I got you on that.
I just don't see the 49ers coming into our stadium, both teams needing it and taking it away.
Okay.
I mean, the same situation that it'll be for the NFC Championship game is the same, the same thing that we need today. Sunday. And the winner is going to be the better team, and I think they were better.
Okay.
In all categories.
I can respect that. All right. This is my take on it.
Okay.
Before we get out of here.
Okay.
I don't think you guys have played a defense as good as ours yet.
No.
I feel like if we do get up early, and I believe we will, because that is actually who we are this year, and who you guys are this year is playing to the level of the competition, it seems like, and then you guys are opportunistic.
Down or up.
Yeah, doesn't matter. You guys do that. So we really don't know. Yeah, because you'll play a weak team and play down to them. Then you'll play a good team and then surprise them in the end. All of a sudden, you won the game. So you guys have played the Super Bowl champ, and you guys have played a lot weaker teams that won't play that won't be in the playoffs. So I totally get that.
Okay.
How you feel your team is different? I feel mine is different. I feel like you guys haven't faced a full entire beast like us yet, and this is gonna be our first time fully healthy. With you guys not having Johnson at full health, I think that's going to be a problem. And I feel like our linebacking core is better than you guys. I feel like you guys have us on the offensive line, which worries me for our defensive line. But I feel like we're better now than we used to be last year on the defensive line because we did add Chase Young. I feel that way. I feel like our defensive line is solid.
Okay.
And I think we're going to use Christian McCaffrey a lot. And I think Kittle is going to be featured because, again, the linebacking core is not the same. Okay. I personally feel like you guys are barely going to score 20 points.
And that might be true.
We are. And that's who we are. True. And when we win, we always score 30.
Okay.
Every time. And you guys have given up that. So my score, it's not an evisceration, but it is 2 scores. I feel like that score is going to be 34-20. I feel like that because I know the Niners, they get up for big games. Like we did against the Cowboys. I don't think it's going to be the same score as the Cowboys, how we destroyed them. But I do think this is the week where you guys finally take another L with all the close games that you've been having and still coming out and finding a way to win. I feel like this is going to be the moment where you guys realize you can't play like that for a whole season without taking more L's than just one. And for those teams that are supposed to be Super Bowl contenders, you can't play that way. And we are a better defense than the Chiefs.
Well, I don't know if you're a better defense than the Chiefs.
I do. I believe
the Chiefs' defense is, statistically, I think they're better than the 49ers.
I don't think so. I think our rank is higher than everyone right now because we don't give up a lot of points.
Because of the last 3 games?
We don't give up a lot of points, period.
Okay. I'm not going to get it. Anyway.
Because you said we've been whooping everybody, right?
Yes. Well, everybody except for those 3 teams.
Except for those 3 games. We only put up 17 points, but we still barely lost. The only team that really beat us, really beat us, was the Bengals. They won through and throughout. The whole game, they just beat us, and they beat us at home. So they are
not okay,
and they're not a great offensive line team. They don't have nowhere near what you guys have, as far as all the talent and everything. But like I said,
they have a legitimate quarterback.
Yes,
and because
they have issues.
They have a legitimate quarterback, and they got legitimate outside receivers.
They do. They're elite, and you guys have a legitimate quarterback and legitimate outside receivers.
And the rest of our team is better than their team.
Yes, it is. I said that. I said that I believe the Eagles are more talented than the Chiefs. I believe that.
No, I'm talking about the Bengals. I'm talking about the Bengals.
The Bengals. Oh, you guys are way better than them. Yes, absolutely.
With their quarterback.
With Joe Burrow, you guys are a better.
With Joe Burrow, we're better than them.
And I believe we're better than them.
Oh, but
with Joe Burrow, I believe that we're better than them.
But they came to your house and handled you.
They did come to our house and handle us. But like I said, we'll be 100% healthy on Sunday.
Oh,
we weren't then.
Okay, all right, I'll give you that. We're not going to be 100% healthy, but I'm not. That's not an issue.
It plays into my score prediction as well.
But I still even if we did go down, I don't see it as I can't see.
I know
anybody. I can't see anybody routing us. I can see us. I can see us routing. I can see us routing another team, and I'm not saying that we're going to route you guys, but we like everything. We haven't played where every facet of I guess the Miami game, like every facet of our team worked that day, and we manhandled them. They scored a legitimate 10 points. That's it.
And that's from a team that's put up 70 this year. You know what I'm saying?
Put up 70. We held them to 10 points.
Exactly.
So that
game is like that.
They can be like that. They just
can be, but they haven't shown it consistently.
Exactly.
Which is why I think that inconsistency can show again. And if that shows again, I don't feel like you guys are. I feel like this is our time right now, which to me is going to make the NFC Championship later on better.
Well, it'll still be good. Okay,
so it's going to be good, but it's going to be even more hype. It's going to be like, the Eagles beat the Niners. The next time they played, they were healthy and Brock Purdy won. I can just see it all. It feels that way.
I can't see it. I can't see us losing to that.
You don't want to see it.
No. I could look. I could see us. I could see us losing to your team if you had. I just think all things being equal, I just think our quarterback is just head and shoulders better than your quarterback.
He's
And I think
superior to Brock Purdy.
I think he's superior by
He is.
far. And that's the difference in the two teams. The difference in the two teams is our quarterback and our mentality of being able to come back when it gets tough.
And
That's
I
the
like
difference in
that.
That's the difference
I
in the
like
two
that.
teams. So if the
And I
game
like
is
that.
close, if the game is close within 2 scores, and that's close for us. If the
Yes, it
game
is.
is within 2 scores, we're going to get you.
And
That's
see,
how we feel.
I can see that because we haven't played good in a close game yet.
Nope. But what you consider a close game and what we consider a close game are 2 different animals. If we're within 2 scores, we're going to win. We've been down double digits to 5 teams this year and came back and beat all of them. Came back and beat them all.
But all of them won the Niners.
No. But again, I don't think that we're going to get down 2 scores. But what I'm saying is that our team's mentality is the type of mentality that can bring you back from a 2-score deficit. And we've done it with regularity. Whereas now some people like you are saying that is an issue. And I think that it is a character builder.
Character trait. Yeah.
It's a character builder. And
it is. And because you guys are battle tested, which plays well going against good teams in playoff games. Like that's
exactly
what a battle test that you need your team to be battle tested. And we haven't been yet.
But not just battle tested and triumphant in the battle. Meaning that you've been tested. I mean, you've been tested. I mean, 3 losses, you got tested. But, you got to overcome that and win those games. And we've been tested quite a few times this year, and we overcame it.
Every time.
All but once.
Basically every time, other than the Jets. That's it. Right. And we are 0-3 at that. Otherwise, everything has been a blowout. That's why I said if we get up on y'all, I feel like we're going to play our best football.
Okay, so we say it this way. As they say, you better kill me.
That's what it is. Because if we're in a close game, like with you guys, or we're down or something like that, I'm not going to feel the most confident because I don't know what my quarterback is capable of in those moments because as of now, hasn't been great.
Well, I have in my mind how the initial series are going to go, and I don't want to say nothing because I don't want anybody to see it and go whatever. But I think the Eagles. No, I'm not. But I will say this though, that I think the Eagles will score a touchdown early in the game to take the lead, an early lead, and if they do that,
then we're gonna have a game on our hands.
Because it might be hideous.
It's gonna put us in. I don't think it's gonna be hideous because I know how up we are for this game. I know that. And I know that we're focused because as soon as y'all started the Twitter wars this week, it's talking about like AJ Brown's. Y'all can go at Debo this week. Y'all got my permission. Reddick. He's saying like I'm tired of hearing this and that. Y'all crying about this and that. Line them up and let's go. Like all that stuff. We haven't responded and not saying anything. They asking us. Asking us in interviews.
All I saw was Debo talking about. No, all I saw was Debo saying they asked him.
He said he didn't regret nothing he said.
And he said no, and that's exactly what he said.
And they were like, I respect that. I mean, he better not.
And they asked the Eagle, and he said, "Hey, he's allowed his opinion, but all I can do is line it up and play my best game. That's all he can do."
Yeah. And like some other interviews they asked, and they was like, you know what? Sunday is another game. We're gonna prepare the same way that we prepare. We know we got a tough matchup, and we're gonna be ready. Okay. Like that's where their mind is, and that's good because before that, they were on the field. Like when we played the Browns, they starting fights before games, faces, all that. Like they needed to be humble. That pissed me off. I was like, can we act like we got some kind of professionalism? Like I know that we can come out here and be beasts and all that. Do that on the field. Don't hype up the team before the game. What are you doing?
Well, I'll tell you what they're doing. They
trying to scare people. Bully them?
They're trying to intimidate people. They have
We're bullies though. We are.
You have a bully mentality, and when people say or do things, y'all step right to them. I mean, look at your leadership. You got Debo, he's a hothead. You look at Williams, he's a hothead. Look at Warner,
because Greenlaw is really.
They're hotheads. They're all hotheads. You don't see that from our guys.
No, you don't see it that much.
From our guys. No. You don't see that from our quarterback. You don't see that, and that's fine. Look, it's football. It's
same stage.
Yes.
So the skill gap for everyone is about this much, really.
Exactly.
Really, it's really just that little bit. But
so everybody's trying to everybody is trying to gain an edge, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, what have you. And the 49ers, they use that bully mentality, whether it's scaring people or not, it motivates them.
Yeah.
And they feel as though that, that physicality that they have is doing something to the other team. Oh, yeah, nobody wins after they play us because they all beat up, whatever that means. You know what I mean? But
yeah, that was last year.
But now it's but
now it's like, look,
you're not the only tough team in the NFL. I mean, there's teams out there that is their mantra. Not this year, not last year.
Every year. That's literally their organizational. That's who they are.
Pittsburgh, Baltimore. You know what I mean? That's what they are. So when they see that, they're like, oh, okay.
Even the Seahawks.
Yeah,
they like that too.
They bring the pain. So it's like, okay, here they come. we the NFC champs. We've seen this, we've seen this freaking movie before. We all walked out of here good to go. So and they was trying to. Did you watch the game against the Bills, right?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So did you see that defensive end or tackle, whatever he was, defensive tackle, Phillips, when he just we were getting ready to do the mush thing, and he just ran through. He just ran through our guard, knocked him over, and tried to fall into Hurts' legs.
Yeah, see that? Yeah. It seems like it was it felt intentional a little bit.
Yes, it was intentional.
Yeah, I was like, "Ooh, that don't look good."
That was intentional. Yeah. So that was and I'm like, here they are trying not to be, intimidated by what the Eagles are doing. So it was just two guys that were doing that the whole game. But the 49ers, they're like that. So I'm like, we expect it. We ready for it. We welcome it. Hey, steel sharpens steel, whatever. We go, we there for it. We about that. So bring it. And we'll see you on Sunday. You know what I mean?
Yep. That's why this game is like that, because both teams bring the physicality. It's like
right.
The big boy meets the big boy, and it's like, and only one man can come from that. So,
yes.
Well,
I'm sure that only one will come out of it.
What I mean,
yeah, but then after the game, okay. So, all right. Despite who wins and who loses, right? After this game, win or lose, win, how does your team respond? Of course, they respond greatly. Yeah. Lose, how do they respond? Who do you got next?
Well, if we lose, we got Baltimore coming up.
So you got
coming up soon. That's coming. We got the Cardinals, and then we got Baltimore. So we got an easier game, should be, and then we got Baltimore. So that's another game. So we got to be on our high horse regardless. We can't take an L and be get down about it. We can't. We can't let one L turn into 2 or 3 if we want to end up with a good seed and not have to play a bunch of road games in the playoffs again.
Right.
We don't want to have to do that.
You only had to play one last year.
Huh?
You only had to play one road game last year.
Yeah, but it wasn't. We would rather not, Because the year before we played all road games. That was the one with the interception when Jacoski Tart dropped it. Yeah,
right.
It was all road games.
Right.
And on top of that, this season, we literally are having like the top 3 maybe in travel for the whole entire NFL. We travel the most dang near. So
really?
yes. So why will we want to have a bad seed and continue that? Why would we want to do that when you said yourself how loud our stadium is? That's an advantage.
Oh, it's loud.
We need that. We need that. Dallas don't play good there. We know that.
No, but they played.
They didn't play good this last time. Last time it was bad.
No, they got smoked. You know, it was hilarious after it got to that point where it was over to watch the blue bleed out of your stadium. It looked like blood leaving the. You know, it was just like I was just like, wow.
You know what's funny is me and my boy Fireman Ronnie with the hat on that be at all the games that's gonna be there at y'all game. You gonna see it. I guarantee it.
Okay.
Me and him say every time we play the Cowboys, we go back to the parking lot after where we were tailgating at, and they all promised to come back. No one ever comes back.
They're gone. Yeah. Well, I mean, they got manhandled.
But they promised. They was like, "No, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna take it." All of a sudden, no, I gotta go. I got an emergency. I got this. I got that. Where you at?
Wow. Yeah. That was ugly.
So to me, it's like whatever. But I appreciate you, man. I'm so glad you came on the show.
Okay. I want to be able to do this again. So
no, absolutely, because you know what you're talking about. You know football just in general. So y'all know y'all gonna see Big 69 out here again.
Okay. All right.
y'all gonna see him out here, and I want to make sure y'all keep tuning in, man, because I'm always have something good for y'all, something lined up. I love it. It's a good time, and let's tune in Sunday because that's when y'all gonna see me again. Sunday after the game. So please come back.
See that smile on his face? It won't be there.
We gonna see.